has arrived. I have been teasing this delivery for the past few episodes of the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy, and trust me, this delivery changes everything. That's because in this box we have some of the rarest PlayStation games ever released. Folks, and welcome back to the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy. My challenge for 2025 is to not only find every single PlayStation 3 Platinum game released here in the PAL region, but to also finish the story, to find the remaining PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games we need to own every single Platinum game ever released in the PAL region. And in this episode, we take a massive step towards that final goal with this challenge-changing delivery. But that's not all. We'll also be hitting up the local carboot, CEX stores and Nottingham gaming market. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit that like button and please subscribe, as I put new videos out every Saturday night at 5, as well as bonus content throughout the week, and I really want you folks along for the ride. And if you ever miss an episode of the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy, fear not, I'll link them all down below in a playlist. Just before we head off on our first Platinum hunt of the episode, I'll bring your attention to this PlayStation t-shirt I'm wearing this time. Yes, I wear PlayStation t-shirts every single episode of this series, but this one is especially special. This was a vintage find, and if you look on the pocket here, this is an official retail PlayStation Specialist t-shirt. Now, this is normally the kind of item that money cannot buy, and as soon as I saw this on Vinted, I couldn't buy it quick enough. I love promotional, normally not for resale items like this, because these can be some of the rarest items in my collection. We're not just looking for PlayStation t-shirts though, folks. We are looking for PlayStation Platinum games. And what better place to start than at my local car boot? Our Platinum hunt starts this time at what I believe is the greatest car boot in the world, Arminghall on the outskirts of Norwich. I'm going to try and hit up this car boot as many times as possible this summer. So they have car boots every Sunday, Wednesday and bank holiday. And straight away we were finding a large amount of games here. And I love boxes and just massive piles of games like this, as you just have to get stuck in and see what you can find. And more often you can strike gold in piles of games like this, but hopefully today we're gonna strike platinum. When it comes to car boot stalls like this one, who are just selling piles of games, you just have to get stuck in. You just have to dig through and try and find what you're looking for. And of course, this time we are looking for PlayStation 3 Platinum games. Now, unfortunately, this time we didn't manage to find any we needed for the collection, but this is only the first car boot of the 2025 season here at Arminghall, and I'm glad to see games this early. Unfortunately, we had no luck hunting for PlayStation Platinum games at my local car boot, but one place you are guaranteed to find games is a gaming market, and this time we are heading to Nottingham Gaming Market. Let's hit the road. For our next stop, this time Platinum hunting, we're hitting the road to Nottingham and Nottingham Gaming Market. Now, this will be the second gaming market of the year we've hit up so far for the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy. And unfortunately, the first gaming market we hit up, Leeds Gaming Market, we didn't manage to find any PlayStation 3 Platinum games we needed for the collection. So hopefully this time we can have a little bit more luck. But I am noticing something which honestly is quite worrying. I am not seeing many PlayStation 3 Platinum games at gaming markets such as this one. I just think when it comes to gaming markets like this, most sellers are bringing their heavy hitters. At the end of the day, people can only bring so much to the market, and maybe because a majority of people are not looking for PlayStation 3 Platinum games, they don't think they're worth bringing. But of course, you know me, I'm never going to stop hunting and digging through boxes like this, because all it takes is for us to find one game we need and it makes it all worthwhile. But unfortunately, this time it does seem like we're going to be hit by the curse of the incorrect disc. This is one of the hardest parts of Platinum hunting, not only finding the games, but finding the games with the correct disc. Regardless though, it had been an absolutely incredible day here at Nottingham Gaming Market, and I had found some incredible SNES games. So go to my other videos and check out my other video from here, because honestly, these are some of my favourite pickups of 2025 so far, even though, unfortunately this time, we didn't manage to find any PlayStation 3 Platinum games for the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy. back to the games room. Unfortunately then, so far this episode, we have had not one, but two failed Platinum hunts. But we had one last chance to hunt for PlayStation Platinum games in the wild on the way back from Nottingham gaming market. And when I say one chance, it actually means two chances, as we hit up not one, but two CEX stores. The first CEX store we'll be stopping at this time is Grantham, and I've passed this store so many times, but this will be my first visit. Now, this was a fairly small CEX store, but it had a surprisingly large amount of PlayStation 3 games in stock, so I'm hoping we can end that dry patch and find a Platinum game we need for the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy. But it's not looking great to begin with. These are all kind of standard versions of the games. I'm not even seeing any Platinum games, so I'm just desperately looking now through all these games, hoping there's at least a Platinum game, even if it's one we don't need. And I was coming to the end of this section and starting to worry when I saw Little Big Planet 2, a game we've been looking for a very long while. Not the rarest game you wouldn't have thought. Unfortunately, it didn't have a manual, but I was just very relieved to finally end the dry streak of not finding any PlayStation 3 Platinum games this time. Unfortunately, that was all we found in Grantham, but we had a second chance to score some Platinum games on the way back from Nottingham gaming market, and I was hopeful that our second store would be just as fruitful. Our second stop on the way back from Nottingham gaming market was Serpentine Green, on the outskirts of Peterborough. This is the second CEX store in Peterborough, and once again this is a fairly large CEX store with a fairly large, thankfully, PlayStation 3 section, and it doesn't take us long to find our first Platinum game, Assassin's Creed 2. Now, this is the Game of the Year edition, so let me know in the comments down below if you know if this includes all of the DLC on the disc. Now, this store was really great to hunt for Platinums in, as all the games were facing spine outwards on the shelf, and it makes it so much easier to find the Platinum games, because you can just tell with that yellow tag at the top or the red tag on some of the games. And there was quite a few games we did need here, but of course when you are hunting for Platinum games in CEX, you have no guarantee they're going to have the Platinum disc. And so far we've found two games we need for the collection. Ironically, Little Big Planet 2 again as well, but it depends how many of these games have the correct Platinum disc, because of course if they do not have the correct disc, we cannot add them to the collection. Thankfully, on the way back from Nottingham gaming market, we managed to break the dry spell. We managed to find a PlayStation 3 Platinum game we needed for the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy, and it was in the first store we visited, Grantham. And the game we picked up is this game right here, the absolutely incredible build your own game, Little Big Planet 2. Now, this does have the correct disc, but unfortunately not the manual. But I'm sure I can find a manual for this one down the road, because of course all the PlayStation 3 manuals are the same as their standard version manual. So very happy to cross this one off the list, but that's not all. On our second visit to another CEX store, Serpentine Green, we picked up two games off the shelf. But the question is, how many of these games had the correct Platinum disc? Out of the two Platinum games we picked up in Serpentine Green CEX, unfortunately only one had the correct Platinum disc, and there's this absolutely incredible racing game, MotorStorm Pacific Rift. I absolutely love the MotorStorm series. It's absolutely incredible. I think my favourite one is probably MotorStorm Apocalypse, just because it dials up the insanity to 1,000. Literally the world is ending and you are simply racing around. This is a fantastic franchise, and unfortunately this is a bit of a running theme here on the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy. This is another franchise that Sony has left to die, and honestly it would be incredible to get a brand new MotorStorm game. I cannot wait any longer, folks. We're going to get into this delivery, but I just want to emphasize how much this delivery is going to change the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy forever. This package contains some of the rarest, hardest to find PlayStation games ever released. These are some of the rarest Platinum games in the entire world, and a massive shout out to good friends of the channel, Matt, not only for finding these, but for his massive knowledge about the PlayStation catalogue. Without him, I wouldn't have known some of these games even existed. There's going to be games in here you have never seen before, and just getting these games here, again, a massive shout out to Matt. Most of these games are from Spain and the surrounding area. We had to get these games shipped to a PO box in Spain because a lot of these they would not deliver to the UK, and then ship this box to the UK. And Matt, massive shout out for this massive delivery. But first, before we get into it, let's get into the numbers. So we have countless PlayStation 3 Platinum games left to find. That's fine. We are only not even halfway through the year. We still have time. But we only have just over 20 PS2 games left to find. And trust me, after this delivery, that number's coming down. But the most astonishing thing about this delivery, we have 4 PS1 Platinum games left to find before we have the complete PlayStation 1 Platinum library. And once again, that number is coming down. Brace yourself. We're about to open one of the craziest deliveries I've ever received. Deep breath then, let's jump into this delivery, which I promise will change the face of the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy forever. So full transparency, the contents of this box cost over £230. But remember, these have been shipped from Spain, and some of the games in this box are priceless, and they have been packaged and sent with all the care you would expect. And I have no idea where to start on these, so I'm just going to jump straight in. So first off, we have a copy of The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Now, I never thought this got a UK release. I couldn't find a copy of this game in the UK. This game has come from Spain, but it's fully in English. It has the manual and the Platinum disc. We have a decent amount of PlayStation 2 Platinum games in here. As I said, that number is coming down. Next up, we have one of my favourite PS2 games, regardless of it being Platinum or not, and that is Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne. And this is in absolutely incredible condition. You may notice it's not the original box, has been changed out, you can tell by the WWE logo. Again, manual, one of the crispiest manuals I've ever seen. And of course, the Platinum disc. And this looks like it was the German release. I'm not sure if this game, once again, got released outside of Germany. If there is different versions, I've never come across them, but let me know in the comments down below if you know. I'm slowly trying to build a library so we can get a complete picture of every Platinum game release. And Matt helped build this picture so much. He has helped so much. Such as this next game, which I never knew got a PlayStation 2 Platinum release. It is Gun. I never knew this was released for the PlayStation 2. I haven't been hunting for this game because I never knew it got a PlayStation 2 Platinum release. And this is, I think, the Swiss edition of this game. And just to be able to find a copy, once again, with the manual, and quite ironically, a game kind of sticker on there, I'm amazed. Like, there's still this point, nearly a year and a half after starting this hunt, we're finding games I didn't know got a Platinum release. So that's another one added to the list. And then, we're going to save that one until later. We're going to dig a little bit further down. We have Splinter Cell Double Agent, the final Splinter Cell game we needed. I think a lot of these are Portuguese or Spanish releases. I think a lot of these Platinum games only got released in that general area. Again, these are in incredible condition. For games that are over 20 years old, these are in insanely good condition. They just keep coming. Battlefield Modern Combat, which has been a real thorn in my side. This is, I think, the French version. And I've received versions of this in the post. They've been the wrong ones. This one doesn't have the manual, but if you remember, we picked up a copy of this in the past. It didn't have the Platinum disc, but it did have the manual. And I just hope I've actually kept that. So I did send a lot of these Platinum discs to the lucky winner of the competition. Digging down, this one, I'm going to hide that one for a start. This one I was very pleased to pick up because it's the final WWE game we needed. SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 with all that nasty John Cena and Randy Orton on the cover. And also The Undertaker, absolutely fantastic. No, John Cena, this one is Sheamus. I should know, I think I have a signed copy of this on the PS3. But yeah, again, this is the Spanish release, Spanish manual, but English voices. Go figure on that one. Again, incredible condition, correct WWE case. One of those ones I do kind of aim for. They keep coming, folks. I think the final Pro Evo game we needed, Pro Evo 2011. I never knew when I started this challenge. I found out very early on. The PS1 FIFA games were hard to find. The PS2 FIFA games were hard to find, but PES has been one of the hardest. Again, manual, disc, fantastic edition. Again, Spanish release. I do wonder if a lot of these only got a Spanish release. We're really piling the games up here. They keep coming though, folks. We have Happy Feet. Now, this one is English. I think it was released in Switzerland as well. I had a couple of kind of pre-owned stickers on the back. I will probably change the case on this one, but again, fantastic condition with a manual and some other interesting, like, how to use your PlayStation, and also some interesting little adverts. No idea if they are original or so he's put them in afterwards. And let me just dig deep in. We had to wait for these to be delivered for quite a while. I'm just remembering if there's any more PS2 games. That is all of the PS2 games in here, but check out this stack we are crossing off the list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 PS2 games in one day. Now that would be an incredible day, but these pale in comparison to what is left in this box. So far then, we have had 8 PlayStation 2 Platinum games to cross off the list. That is a massive amount this far into the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy, and they are some of the hardest to find games for the PS2 Platinum library. But next up, we have one of the hardest games to find for the PlayStation 3 Platinum library. And I wanted to get this one out of the way quick, because sometimes I am guilty of leaving some of these harder to find games towards the end of the year, and then I struggle to find them in time. And I knew this game only got a Spanish release. I had people tell me, starting my PS3 collecting journey, this only got a Spanish release, and it's one of my favourite, maybe my favourite game of all time. This game means a lot to me on a whole lot of levels, which I don't want to get into too deep this time. It's a very dark, depressing story, but I digress. That's a story for another time. This, for me personally, I believe so far is the hardest to find PlayStation 3 Platinum game released anywhere. It's only available in Spain, and it is Fallout 3. Now, shout out to some other viewers who messaged me recently saying they got hold of some copies of this game, but I knew it was winging my way to me, so massive shout out to you for offering, because this one's hard to find, especially with the manual, and this being one of my favourite, if not favourite games of all time, I'm so happy to cross this one off the list. But again, somehow it pales in comparison to the 2 games remaining in this box, as one of these has been my white whale for nearly 2 years. We have 2 games remaining in this game-changing delivery, and one of these me and Matt came across by accident. We could not believe our luck when we saw a copy of this game for sale in Spain. This is the second hardest PlayStation Platinum game to find, and this game is Star Wars Episode 1 Jedi Power Battles, an absolute classic. Now, this one will require a new box, but this one is hard to find. I have been searching for this game for nearly 2.5 years, and to find it complete with the manual and the Platinum disc is absolutely insane. The luck to find this at this time is mind-blowing. I cannot believe this turned up at the same time as this delivery, because once again, this seller would not send to the UK. I think this was listed on a strange Spanish-only selling site. I'll put some pictures on the side of the screen, and yeah, I did reach out. The person did agree to send it, but we worked out it'd be cheaper to bundle it in with these games. So I did have nearly a complete copy of this game. Once again, courtesy of Matt. We have the front, which was the black label version. We did have a black label manual. We never managed to find the Platinum disc. This box is literally crumbling in my hands, but we did have the back of this game. And even finding this was a challenge. So to finally own a CIB copy of one of the rarest PlayStation 1 Platinum games ever released is insane, and it takes us down to 3 PS1 Platinum games left to find. Or should I say 2, because in here is quite possibly the rarest game in my entire collection. Here we go then, folks, my white whale, a holy grail for my collection, a game I never knew I'd find. This was what I thought was going to ruin the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy, for lack of a better term. I thought this was the game we would never manage to find. And again, massive shout out to Matt. He has put a post-it note in here saying, glad I was able to facilitate this box of grails for you. Enjoy. And Matt, I will. This is my white whale. It's a ridiculous game. To covet this game this much is absolutely insane. But for me personally, I believe this to be one of the rarest PlayStation and PlayStation 1 games ever released. It's a real disappointment when you find out what this game is, because this is not a game you would expect to be rare. It's not like a Castlevania Symphony of the Night. It's not even like a Vib Ribbon level of rarity. The Black Label version of this, you can walk into most game stores and pick up. But the Platinum version of this game is like hen's teeth. It is. I have never seen a copy of this before, and I may never see a copy again. I know I'm speaking in hyperbole, but this means so much to me. This game is a bit of an anticlimax when I pull it out, but it brings us so close to completing the PlayStation 1 Platinum Library. This game is, it's Sheepdog and Wolf. A Acme Warner Brothers, probably pretty terrible game, is in my opinion the rarest PlayStation 1 Platinum game ever released. I have been chasing this white whale, holy grail, as I said, for nearly 2.5 years, and I've never seen a copy. It's not even overtly expensive. I think it was about 40 quid. But just finding this game has driven me to the brink of insanity. I cannot believe we have this game in the collection. We now have just 2 PlayStation 1 games left to find to complete the PlayStation 1 Platinum Library. Or do we? I said then we had 2 PlayStation 1 Platinum games left to find. But we don't, we have 1. And we have one of those games in this delivery here, which, Matt, this was above and beyond. We found a copy of this game on eBay. This is a fairly common game. This is a game that comes up every so often. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet because I've been searching for those 2 harder to find games. And Matt, massive thanks. Just went ahead and bought this game on eBay. I was going to grab it on my next payday. Like I said, this bundle of games was over £230 and I was tapped for game hunting money this month. So a massive shout out to Matt for just grabbing this one and sending it to me. It is Need for Speed Porsche 2000. Not only the final Need for Speed game we needed for the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy, but the penultimate PlayStation 1 Platinum game we needed for the complete PlayStation 1 Platinum Library. With this game and this gift from Matt, we have 1 PlayStation Platinum game left to find. It's not even plural anymore. We are down to 1 final Platinum PS1 game, and I have found every single PlayStation 1 Platinum game ever released here in the PAL region. Honestly, it amazes me it's been possible. I never knew it was going to be this difficult. I thought it might be slightly difficult. I didn't realise there was going to be regional variants and games only released in certain countries and very low print runs. And I never knew so many people would help me get to this point. I've had my doubts over the past nearly 2.5 years, but we are 1 game away from completing the PlayStation 1 Platinum Library for the PAL region. And honestly, I'm not blowing my own trumpet here, but I feel I could be the first person in the world, to the best of my knowledge, to own the complete PlayStation 1 Platinum Library. I might not be, but let me know. If you know anyone who is, or can find anyone who claims to have a complete PS1 Platinum collection, comment down below. We have 1 game left to find, and this one's going to hurt. because I already own the black label version of this game, and this game is over £100. But it's a game I can go like that and buy it. I'm just literally waiting on payday to pick up a copy of Silent Hill Platinum, a game when we started this journey over 2 years ago was a £60 game in CX. This game is now over £100 for a complete Platinum version. The prices of these games, especially for the PS1, has gone crazy over the past 2 years, and a lot of these games CEX no longer sell. I would have one piece of advice if you are aiming to go for a complete PlayStation 1 Platinum Collection in 2024. So 2025. Do not do it. It was hard 2 years ago. I honestly think today, in 2025, trying to find this complete collection would be impossible, but prove me wrong. I invite anyone to go on this crazy journey I have been on, and trust me folks, we ain't done yet. But first of all, we need to talk about those remaining PS2 games. Let's get into the numbers then. So we need one PlayStation 1 Platinum game to complete the PlayStation 1 Platinum library, like I said. But we only need 20 PlayStation 2 Platinum games to complete the complete PlayStation 2 Platinum library for the PAL region. Or shall we say 18? Upon talking deeper with Matt, who, like I said, has inside knowledge of the PlayStation catalogue, he has assured me that 2 of these games never got a PlayStation 2 Platinum release, which means we have just 18 games left to find to complete the complete PlayStation 2 Platinum library. Now, a lot of these are Australian exclusives, and trust me folks, the wheels are already in motion. These games are coming to me as we speak. We are nearing the end of this challenge, but trust me, it ain't over yet, and you ain't seen nothing yet. There we have it then folks, that was quite possibly the craziest episode ever of the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy. And thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone who has joined me so far on this crazy adventure. And like I said, you ain't seen nothing yet. The craziest stuff is still yet to come. But we have to celebrate today's victories, as this, like I said, is game changing. We have 8 PlayStation 2 games to cross off the list, meaning we just have 18 left to find. 3 PlayStation 3 games to cross off the list, including one of the rarest PlayStation 3 Platinums in the world. And perhaps most importantly, 3 PS1 games, including my White Whale, meaning we have just 1 PlayStation 1 game left to find. And trust me, it is only to get crazier from here. As we get closer and closer to the end of 2025, the stakes have never been higher, and we have never been closer. There we have it then folks, that was another episode of the PlayStation Platinum Trilogy, and I dare say this has been the craziest episode so far. The closer we get to the conclusion of this challenge, the crazier it's going to get, and the further I will go to complete this challenge. As we speak, we have games winging their way to me from across the entire world. This truly is a global challenge, and one you don't want to miss. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and until next time, let the games begin. See you all soon.